Welcome back to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today. We are unpacking the pivotal 11th session of our epic campaign, tracing a massive journey from the underbelly of a bustling town all the way to the treacherous shores of the Sword Coast. And listen, we are throwing the agenda right out the window today, because the momentum is just too good to pause. We are picking up right where we left off, dropping straight into the thick, smoke-filled air of Casino Fandle's basement, where a ridiculously high-stakes game is reaching its boiling point. Okay, let's dive into this, because the atmosphere down in Bajak Lau's basement casino is absolutely electric right now. The tournament has steadily whittled down the competition, and now only 2 players are left sitting at the felt. And this final hand of liar's dice isn't just about gold. It is about information that could literally alter the fate of the entire Sword Coast. On one side of the table sits our cleric, Boris Rightwell. On the other, a man known for gambling away his crew's fortunes, the infamous pirate Captain Lorca O'Shea. This matchup brilliantly illustrates the clash of 2 totally different worlds. Over on the left, we've got Boris channeling this pristine, newly found divine power. But on the right, Captain Lorca O'Shea is just radiating pure, seasoned pirate grit and swagger. It's the structured, spiritual faith of a cleric going head-to-head against the chaotic, bluff-heavy nature of a guy who's lived his life on the high seas. You can practically feel the tension radiating off the table as these 2 try to outread and outmaneuver each other. To truly grasp the gravity of this game, just take a look at who's standing around the table holding their breath. These aren't just random tavern patrons. These are the heavy hitters of Phandalin. We've got the townmaster Harbin Wester, Elmar Barthen's clerk Ander, the innkeeper Toblin, our host Bajak, and even Hullia Thornton, that calculating agent of the Zentarum. Literally, every major political and economic player in town is watching closely. It just proves how much is riding on this single nail-biting game of dice, right?
Now, to understand how this resolves, we really need to anchor ourselves in some recent history. Think back to Session 9. After the horrific death and, subsequent resurrection of his friend Whiffer at the shrine of Savros, Boris finally made a definitive choice regarding his faith. He fully devoted himself to Timora, the goddess of luck. And remember, Timora herself told Boris that she chose him because he doesn't just wait around for destiny, he makes his own luck. That divine connection, that cosmic favor, is exactly what's powering him through this intense psychological standoff.
And the dice fall in favor of the divine. Boris takes the pot. Captain Lorca concedes the game and, to his credit, keeps his word. But you and I both know the real prize here isn't the gold. The prize is Lorca answering Boris's questions and revealing the exact path to their next destination, the Tower of Storms. This is incredibly satisfying narratively because it finally fulfills the mandate given to Boris directly by the god Savros all the way back in Session 7 to seek out the blood ritualist Mosco at his lighthouse. The path is officially set. Section 1. Zarathos and the Inner Mind, the Psychological Threshold. Right before our heroes hit the road, the pacing shifts from the calculated strategy of the casino to something far more intimate. As the party rests, we cross a really profound psychological threshold. We actually venture back inside the mind of our warlock, Radir. Inside that dark, internal pop-up circus tent where his fractured personalities, the innocent Boyd Sog, the protective warlock, and the spirit of vengeance, Zarathos, all reside. Zarathos pulls Radir deep into his subconscious to deliver a crucial wake-up call. Quote, "Stop pretending you are all right with relinquishing control and own it. No one is in a cage now. No one is stuck." Unquote. This is a massive internal turning point. Zarathos is essentially demanding that the fractured pieces of Radir stop fighting each other. If they're going to survive what's coming, they have to work together. The cage doors are open. Section 2. The Cult of Talos. Danger on the Trebor Trail. And they are going to need every single ounce of that mental clarity because the safety of Phandalin is now far behind them. As the party leaves town, they accelerate right into the gritty, brutal reality of the wilds. The Trebor Trail is practically vibrating with danger. This isn't just a casual hike. They are crossing directly into enemy territory, heavily patrolled by a very organized threat. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly what makes this cult so utterly terrifying based on previous encounters. They aren't your standard bandits. Their hallmarks include unleashing massive beasts like Gorthok the Boar, utilizing gruesome blood anchorite rituals where they literally rip out their own hearts for immortality, and operating under the command of the Old Man, a powerful, lightning-wielding illusion tied to a massive blue dragon. This is the caliber of enemy they're facing. Let's map out exactly how this descent into darkness unfolds. At nightfall, the tension spikes as they overhear eerie chanting echoing through the woods. By midnight, they find the source. Talos cultists have a woman, Britt Kane, tied to a stake. Without hesitation, Reader uses Misty Step to ambush the cultists, sparking a fierce battle. They dispatch the enemies, but the night is far from over. Just a little further down the road, they stumble into a completely separate disaster: the burning wreckage of a covered wagon belonging to a man named Pilaf Kane. But hey, before we deal with that wagon, let's acknowledge a major victory here. Britt Kane is saved. The party utterly dismantles those cultists, and it brilliantly illustrates the heroism of this group. Reddy fearlessly teleports right into the danger zone, and Boris, in this beautiful act of selfless sacrifice, surrenders his very own horse, which he bought with hard-earned energy powder, just so Britt can escape safely back to Phandalin. It is a shining moment of heroics in a very dark forest. Section 3. Fire on the Road. The Burning Wagon. The relief of that rescue, though, lasts for mere minutes. The urgency stays at absolute maximum as our heroes stumble directly into another crisis. The flames of a burning, wrecked wagon light up the road ahead, and from inside the wreckage, someone is desperately pleading for help. So I have to ask you, what would you do? You're deep in the woods, you know the cult of Talos is out there, you just barely survived one ambush. Do you risk it all to run toward the fire and help a stranger, potentially walking right into a trap? Or do you play it safe, stick to the shadows, and preserve your strength? It is the ultimate moral dilemma of the Triboar Trail. Let's weigh those terrifying risks for a second. Rushing in means risking a coordinated roadside ambush orchestrated by blood magic cultists. But playing it safe means deliberately leaving a man to burn alive in the wreckage. For a party that includes a devout cleric of Tamora and a paladin, like dedication to saving the innocent, playing it safe isn't really an option. They reject the shadows and heroically dive straight into the flames to pull this man from the wreck.
And the payoff for that heroic risk is an incredible narrative connection. The man they drag from the burning wagon is Pilaf Kane. And why is Pilaf out here in this dangerous territory? Because he's desperately searching for one of his missing wives, a woman named Britt. Yes, the exact same woman the party rescued from the cultists just a few miles back. The cosmos, or perhaps Timora's luck, has perfectly aligned their heroic deeds on this road.
Section 4. The Tower of Storms. The Destination. After a night of endless fire, blood, and miraculous reunions, the heavy canopy of the Neverwinter Woods finally gives way. The air grows cold, salty, and thick with the smell of the ocean. Our group slows their pace to a deliberate, suspenseful crawl as they finally arrive at the foreboding coastline. The party stands on the cliffs, looking out into the crashing surf. Slowly, the low tide begins to recede, pulling the dark waters back to reveal a treacherous, jagged path leading straight out into the ocean. And waiting at the end of that path is the Lighthouse of Moscow, the Blood Anchorite, the Tower of Storms. The path is finally open, but it begs the ultimate question: what ungodly horrors are waiting for them inside that lighthouse? We'll have to uncover that next time. Thanks for learning with me today.